Hello, television family. Hope you had a good weekend. I know I did. Now we're back at it, working, but not real hard. It is Monday, the 27th day of January, 2025. I'm Dan Kuntz. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, and here we go again. Sunshine, cold, dry air, gobs of gooey good sunshine. This is day 13 of this weather pattern. We've had zero measurable precipitation since January 4th. That doesn't happen around here very much. And guess what? Most of this week, same deal. All the way through Thursday, and then things are finally going to look a little more January-like by the time we say goodbye to January at the end of the week. This has been a very long stretch of this weather, unprecedented stretch of weather. Again, this is the day 13 of this pattern, of this big dome of high pressure just off the coast of the state, and it is a monstrous one. It's just sitting there, moves around a little bit, that's about it. But come Friday, things will finally start changing, just to break up the monotony, I guess, although I must say I'm liking the sunshine. It's strange. Yesterday's high was 34. Saturday's high was 34, but you get out in the sun, move around a little bit, feels a little bit warmer, doesn't it? We'll be about that today as well. And again, sunshine for most of this week. Forecast details are coming up. We do have an air stagnation advisory, by the way. We'll talk about that in the weather in just a second or two. News, lots. A lot of things to touch on news. Sports, lotser. If lotser is even a word. We'll have all the things that happened in the ever-widening world of sports coming up. And also, in the back half of the program, live in the studio, two of our friends from Sustainable NCW. They'll be making periodic visits here about once a quarter. Marlene Farrell, no stranger to this program. She's the executive director. She'll be joining me to talk about some of their upcoming events. And also Van Brinkerhoff, who runs the Bike Co-op with Sustainable NCW. Looking forward to that conversation. They'll be live here in the back half of the program. And we have two slides to show for you at 2 minutes after the hour. First of all, the air stagnation advisory, which began on Friday. It's still there. The air quality has been good, but the possibility of poor air quality is certainly out there. I mean, you know the scenario by now. Warm air up above, cold air trapped down below. The pollutants climb up until they hit the lid, so to speak, and then it comes right back down again. There's no place for it to go. As far as burn bans, to my knowledge, outside of the normal burn bans this time of the year, there isn't any extra burn bans, but the possibility of pollutants trapped close to the Earth's surface is out there. It didn't really happen over the weekend, but it's still out there because this has been going on for so long, there's just no place for the air to go. It goes up, it comes right back down again, but who's kidding who? It's been a nice stretch of weather. If you like sunny weather, you're really gonna like this. Going to continue through Thursday. But then changes are coming. All the computer models are in agreement that by Friday, unsettled conditions continue into the weekend and into next weekend. Moderate to perhaps heavy snow in the Cascades and in the Idaho Panhandle as far as the lower elevations where we are. Remember, we're protected by the lee of the Cascades. We might not get any at all. We could get a little bit of rain, we could get a little bit of snow. Temperatures are definitely going to be considerably milder as we start seeing finally getting this pattern change. This big ridge of high pressure is eventually going to move out of position to allow some systems to come in. So some heavy snow possible in the upper elevations. Down here, probably not, but at least it changes the monotony of what we've been dealing with. From the National Weather Service, sunshine again. High of 37, 19 for the overnight low. Sunshine Thursday, 36. Sunshine Wednesday, 37. Sunshine all day Thursday with a high of 37. Thursday, by the way, our sunset will be at 5 o'clock. That'll be the first sunset at 5 o'clock or later since November 2nd. That was the day before daylight saving time kicked in. It's been a long time since the sun went down at 5 o'clock or later in the day. That will change on Thursday, and then finally on Friday. Well, actually Thursday night, just the slightest chance of some overnight snow. But the overnight low, as you can see, is going to be considerably milder, 30 for the overnight low. We warm up to 38 on Friday. Friday is the best chance of some sort of precipitation. There's a 70% chance. It could be rain, it could be snow, it could be a rain-snow mix. It's certainly going to be cloudy on Friday with a high of about 38. Again, slight chance of some light snow, possibly mixed with rain on Friday night. The snow level Friday night is going to be 1,000 feet. That's us. 31 for the overnight low. And then fairly dry, about a 50-50 chance of something coming out of the sky on Saturday. We'll go back to a few sun breaks, and temperatures will be warming up a little bit as we get into the weekend, but really not much, but this long period of sunny, cold, dry Arctic air is going to come to an end Thursday night into Friday. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll have your Monday morning news, and there is a lot of it. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCWLIFE channel.
Between juggling groceries, preparing meals, and lending a helping hand, you're a hero without a cape. But who's there to support you? Aging and Adult Care honors caregivers like you, the relatives, friends, and neighbors, helping loved ones remain safely at home. Aging and Adult Care offers chore services, respite, personal care, and more. Serving Chelan, Douglas, Grant, Lincoln, Adams, and Okanagan counties, call Aging and Adult Care at 1-800-572-4459 for caregiver support.
Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa, located on South Wenatchee Ave, has the largest selection of spas and swim spas in town. Stay cool this summer in an artesian swim spa and use it all year long. We enjoy helping families reconnect one spa at a time. Hot tubs are proven to improve sleep and decrease arthritis pain. Our passion is water, so please bring us a water sample, and we will help you diagnose your pool or spa water for free. Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa, your pool and spa experts.
Let Merry Maids custom cleaning experts help you clean up your to-do list. Between work, kids, and pets, it's hard to find time to keep up. Let Merry Maids of Wenatchee help. Merry Maids cleaning experts can help keep your home or business fresh, neat, and exactly how you'd clean it, if only you had the time. Call now for a free estimate, 509-663-1710. Serving Chelan and Douglas counties, Merry Maids, let us help.
Craving fresh Asian comfort food? Steam Panda is Wenatchee's popular, family-friendly Asian restaurant. They focus on providing guests with delicious, healthy, fresh, and natural dishes for an affordable price. Warm up with one of their many popular house-made soup dumplings, ramen noodles, or pho dishes. And make sure to ask about their lunch and chef specials on sushi rolls. Steam Panda's Hawaiian poke bowl and salads are excellent with your favorite boba tea. Stop by or order online at Steam Panda today.
Lots of sunshine, clear skies. Well, sunshine not quite yet. Sun's not up, but it's going to be a very pleasant day today. We're at 18 degrees, mid-30s, lots of sunshine right through most of the work week. Things will start changing, get a little more active with a slight chance of some rain or some snow come Thursday night into Friday. It's 8 minutes after the hour. Law enforcement authorities in Moses Lake had a busy day yesterday with 2 high-speed pursuits that may lead to felony charges. The first occurred shortly after midnight when, according to the State Patrol, 23-year-old Jonathan I. Faircloth of Soap Lake was driving 93 miles an hour on State Route 17 and failed to stop after an officer attempted to pull him over. Faircloth then ran a red light and continued at a high rate of speed through another intersection before losing control of his car and crashing into a utility pole at 24th and Randolph Road. Faircloth then allegedly fled on foot and attempted to enter a locked patrol car before he was eventually arrested. Faircloth faces 8 charges, including eluding, DUI, and resisting arrest. And then last night, just before 9 p.m. and less than a mile away, the State Patrol says 20-year-old Dimitri J. Ransom of Moses Lake was speeding on State Route 17 when he also failed to stop for law enforcement. He eventually reached 90 miles per hour while cutting off traffic, running through roundabouts, and colliding with road signs before troopers stopped the pursuit. Ransom's car was eventually found abandoned at the intersection of West Gary Street and North Paxson Drive. State Patrol troopers and officers with the Moses Lake Police and Grant County Sheriff's deputies tracked down and arrested Ransom and a passenger in his vehicle, 21-year-old Mackenzie Madison, also of Moses Lake. Both are in the Grant County Jail, with Ransom facing charges of felony eluding and hit and run. A Puyallup man and his mother are in jail as part of a Moses Lake Police investigation into identity theft. 33-year-old Michael G. Pollock and his mother, Kimberly, 71 years old, they were booked into the Pierce County Jail on Thursday. Police say Michael Pollock used stolen personal documents, including some from a victim in Moses Lake, to create false IDs and draw money on fraudulent credit cards. After a 6-month investigation, Moses Lake Police led a search of Pollock's home in Puyallup, and that's where they allegedly found stolen and shredded identity papers belonging to the victims. Pollock's mother is accused of attempting to leave the home during the search with a bag full of financial documents hidden under her clothes. Her son faces charges including identity theft, fraud, forgery, and possession of stolen property. Police say both cities are working to identify other potential victims. The motorist accused of spinning his truck intentionally in Leavenworth's Front Street Park just before Christmas has now been charged with a felony. On Thursday, the Chelan County Prosecutor's Office charged 28-year-old Zachary Soltis with first-degree malicious mischief as well as reckless driving. Back on December 22nd, you might remember, Soltis allegedly spun donuts in the park, which is often used as a winter sledding hill, tearing up the turf and doing an estimated $16,000 worth of damage. The incident was captured on video and took place in an area closed to vehicular traffic. Deputies say they identified Soltis through license plate information, and a judge has issued a warrant for his arrest. He has listed addresses in both Texas and Illinois. Leavenworth officials say the cost of repairs could triple if the truck did damage to the paved walkway nearby. An Ephrata man who Grant County Sheriff's deputies wrongly identified as a potential mass shooter has sued the Sheriff's Department. Jonathan R. Moody says he was wrongfully arrested at a Gorge Amphitheater music festival back in August of 2022 and slandered by sheriff's officials who told reporters at the time that Moody might have been planning a mass shooting. The office walked that comment back later the same week. Moody was not charged with the crime. He filed a lawsuit in Grant County Court in late December, and in that suit, Moody admits he was armed with 2 handguns while delivering items to his sister, who was attending the concert. He is seeking damages for false arrest, defamation, emotional distress, and other allegations. And the Wenatchee City Council back now to 7 members with the appointment of educator Myra Navarra Gomez Thursday night at their council meeting. Gomez is currently a teacher at St. Joseph's Catholic School, was previously an administrator for the Eastmont School District. Gomez fills the at-large spot of Keith Huffaker, who resigned from his seat at the end of last year with a year left in his term. Other finalists, including real estate broker Joseph Gamboni, attorney Catherine Hauser, bookkeeper Richard Seal, and Cashmere School District IT Director Juan Valli. Gomez spoke with us and our media partner, the Wenatchee World, after the meeting about her reaction to the appointment.
As an appointed official, more than anything, I'm eager to learn from the team. I know that a lot of our council members have a lot of experience on the board, so learning from them and really continuing to find ways to connect our community to the right resources. More specifically, as a Latina individual, I'm excited to be able to help contribute, not only being female, but multilingual, multicultural. Having that aspect will help me work with our families.
And is there any topic that you feel you're more passionate about than others, perhaps, or any key field that you feel is important to focus on?
Well, I think, as you heard in my interview, I have a strong heart for our housing, affordable housing, and our homeless population. And again, I have a lot to learn, but I'm just really excited to keep working in the direction of supporting some of our people that are marginalized and really struggling with getting their basic needs met.
That is the news, and if this morning is any indication, we're going to have a lot of news for you tonight. At 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock, the NCWLIFE Evening News, 5, 6, and 10, so you can be informed about what the heck is going on around here. That's what we do. And if that doesn't work for you, our news will be up and running via the World Wide Web right around 5 o'clock. You can watch it whenever you want to via our Facebook page, our YouTube page, and our homepage. Don't forget about NCWLIFE.com. And if you're out and about and you think something out there might be worthy of our attention, you send us an email, please, news@ncwlife.com. A lot of sports is 2 minutes away. You're watching a Monday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCWLIFE channel. The family at the Epladolin want to help your loved one feel at ease in their new home environment. Epladolin offers beautiful 1-bedroom and studio apartments. Residents enjoy 3 delicious home-style meals a day, laundry service, housekeeping service, and encouragement to make themselves cozy in their new home. Epladolin welcomes your family to come and visit their family. Epladolin, independent and assisted living. They make the complicated easy for you. Call today for a tour.
Caught in a conflict? Family, workplace, neighbor, business, housing disputes? Wenatchee Valley Dispute Resolution Center provides mediation services, a cost-effective and efficient way to provide a written resolution to disputes and issues. Plus, we offer mediation training and community education on conflict resolution and communication skills. Contact us to learn more.
When you've been in business for 40 years, it's because you understand change and you put members first, always. Now Works is announcing a change in their membership model. Up to 6 people on one membership that you can mix and match. The more people, the bigger the discounts. Introducing the Works shared membership model. One membership, friends and family and flexibility. Works, the cleanest, friendliest, most helpful gyms you and your friends will ever join.
Her Royal Highness, Queen Ella Stimo!
Join NCWLIFE channel for live coverage of the Apple Blossom Festival Royalty Selection Pageant on Saturday, February 8th. Coverage is brought to you in part by our Platinum supporter, Alpine Air Heating and Cooling. Also by Harvest Valley Pest Control, Merry Maids, Together for Youth, and the Wenatchee Valley Dispute Resolution Center. Join us for live coverage of the Apple Blossom Festival Royalty Selection Pageant on your local TV station, the NCWLIFE channel.
All right, we are good to go. The combatants are now set for Super Bowl 59, New Orleans, 2 weeks from yesterday. Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley each scored 3 rushing touchdowns. Not much of a game. Philadelphia romped over Washington in the NFC Championship, 55-23. Kansas City kicker Harrison Butker had a 35-yard field goal with 3:33 left, and the Chiefs' defense held off Josh Allen on 4th down. They beat the Bills 32-29. That's 3 straight AFC championships, by the way, for Kansas City. Super Bowl LIX. We're all looking forward to that. Sunday, February 9th, 3:30 in New Orleans on Fox. The Seattle Kraken picked up a 4-1 win over Pittsburgh Saturday at Climate Pledge Arena. Oliver Bjorkstrand started the scoring for Seattle. Matty Beniers finished it. And in between, Joey Decord fought off 28 of 29 goals for the win.
Now Pedersen. Chris Letang flubs the pass. Jailbreak. Stevenson with Bjorkstrand. Stevenson, the trailer, Burakovsky. Bjorkstrand scores! That's hockey, baby! Three-way passing. A beautiful play. Finished by the maestro. And the Kraken break the ice.
Just
right after you said hello.
Just letting everybody know.
Yeah. Right after you said hello, that was the next thing you said.
You know, Jake from State Farm, just let him know that
the khakis are here.
His pants are up here.
Crosby slams it home on a beautiful setup. Now, Raquel, Crosby, shot taken. The court said no twice. First on Letang, then Beauvillier. Dunn will trap the zone, move it across for Stevenson. They trade places. Stevenson, great pass. McCann turned out by Blomqvist. Now comes all the way back. Dunn again, he scores! Vince Dunn from downtown. He'll zing a pass for Shane Wright. He's converged down by 3, kicks it out to McCann. Wide open, they score! Ellie Tolvanen. A spectacular pass by Jared McCann. Eric Carlson, tight turns away from Matty Beniers. 13 minutes gone in this third period. A steal by Capo Caco with Beniers. 2-on-1. Beniers scores! Hey, hey! What do you say? Matty Beniers, 4-1. Kraken. Kids in the house. Everybody, young and old, has enjoyed this one as they count it out. That's Kraken hockey, baby. Today on Kids Day, it's a 4-1 win.
Vince Dunn and Coach Dan Bylsma talked about a good homestand for the Kraken.
Well, I think carrying the momentum tonight, I think we have our families in town, our families are meeting on the road for the next game. So I think just continuing to play better as a team. I think since that win in Pittsburgh, things have been a little better, but I think we obviously have another level to bring, and I think we're finally playing a little bit more as a team, and even when things aren't going as well, we're able to hold each other accountable and realize where we're going wrong. So Obviously, the goal is to win every single night. Sometimes that doesn't happen, but as long as we can feel good hanging our jerseys up after the game, that's what we need to do.
You know, over the last 6 games, we've got some momentum going with obviously winning some hockey games, but more importantly, how we're playing. And with the rest of the way here, we just want to keep it going. I said, you just keep winning hockey games, keep winning 2 out of 3, and you know, when we get to the break, you'll take a look at where we're at in the standings. And so if we keep on this path, keep our play going in the positive direction, keep winning some hockey games, you know, we'll find ourselves looking up in a good spot, or a better spot.
The Kraken are on the road. They have 1 game tonight in Edmonton, then they turn right back around and come home for the first of 5 games at Climate Pledge Arena. Gonzaga bounced back over the weekend in men's college basketball. Nobody else did. The Husky men lost to UCLA on Friday 65-60. Northern Colorado got by Eastern Washington 67-62. St. Mary's got by Washington State by 5. But Gonzaga picked up the win. They beat Portland 105-62. The Gonzaga women also victorious Saturday. The Bulldogs beat Pepperdine 81-53. Northern Colorado beat the Screaming Eagle ladies 66-55, or 57, I should say. Loyola Marymount edged the Lady Cougars, and Haley Van Lith was among 3 starters in double figures with 19 points. 9th-ranked TCU got by Baylor 80-75. Wenatchee Wild had a 1-1 weekend over the weekend. They kept hanging around Everett Friday night, and Everett, of course, has the best record in the league. Eventually, they went to overtime, and yes, we win. Austin Drade had the call on the Wenatchee Wild Hockey Network.
Sends it in front. Bear looking for a chance, and another fantastic save. She gets run over, and there is no call. Cooper sends it off for Andreessen. Rashadi scores! Reed Andreessen! Defense turns to offense, turns to scoring, turns to a Wenatchee Wild lead. It's 1-0. Reed Andreessen beats him low. Right point for Hamill. Sends it left wing at the dot, back door, and it's in the net. They score. This game is tied. A backdoor pass, and it went deep to the bottom of the face-off circle. And Jesse Heslop with the finish ties this game at 1. And a shake and bake off one Everett player. Stolen away. Heslop brings it in. 3-on-1. In front for Bear. He scores. A takeaway at center for the Silvertips. They bring it in with an odd man rush past Tyler McKenzie up the right wing. That one could have been a 2-on-0 on the kill. Looking to go back door. It bounces in. They score. We are tied again. Looks to face and fire. Poke checked off his stick. Wild retreat and start anew. Sights right wing. Fakes it left, tries to bring it through Hamill. He's got it to the net, brings it on, backhand, he scores! Wild win! Drive home safely! They've done it again!
That was Friday night. Saturday, things didn't go so good. Portland came to town, got a 5-2 victory. Again, Austin Drade with the call.
And back to get to it is Jugnov, looking to reset. Drops this one off for Pshenichka. Out of Prague, Czechia. Played for Slavia Praha's U17 club last year. Wild enter 2-on-1, a takeaway at the bench. One-timer, they score! Sean Rios! On the Portland power play. Wild lead this one 1-0 on a 2-on-1 hammer from Sean Rios. Maddox McCaggerty picking up an assist. Sent out front, and they score. Diego Buttazzoni. Pass out to the right wing circle. At the right point, cleared out to the blue line. Trying to hold it in was Cooper, and he just kept that one inside the paint. Wrist shot from Friesen, batted down. Second chance, they score! Miles Cooper, double digits on the 5-on-4. His 10th power play goal of the year, and the Wild are back in front. It's 2-1. Wild trying to clear it out. They cannot do it. Pshenichka drops it back. Wrist shot. They score. Miller bar down. Game tied 2-2. For the Winterhawks with 3:43 left in the second period. Driving to the net. Stick knocked out of a hand. One-timer. And they score. Back door. It's Weiermeyer hammering it home. Sent across for Buttazzoni. Sends it on, fires it into the top corner, and scores. A catch that hopped off Diego Brazzoni's stick just by a couple of inches, was able to grab it and rip it to the top corner and score. And this is a 4-2 game. Olin Sherbina starts it ahead, up the left wing. Head down drive into the corner, trying to keep that puck in front of him. Stolen, clear down, into the empty net. Empty net power play goal. It'll make it a 5-2 game. Time of this one will be 17:43 of the third.
One more home game. They got Medicine Hat in the big city tomorrow at 6 o'clock. And the Wild embark on their longest road trip of the year up in Canada. All right, the weekend that was in prep basketball, boys, on Friday. There is your score. Apparently, Eisenhower has now changed the way they spell their school's name. They went into overtime, but the Cadets got the better part of it. Davis over Wenatchee. You can see all the victors there, winners and losers in prep boys basketball on Friday. Girls scores on Friday. Let's see, Eisenhower edged Eastmont in overtime. They had 2 overtime games in East Wenatchee on Friday. Davis blows out Wenatchee. Moses Lake over Sunnyside. Quincy over Ephrata. Cashmere got College Place. Omak 19 better than Manson. Lake Roosevelt tripped up Tenasket. Okanagan over Liberty Bell. And the rest of your victors down the line. That's Friday. To Saturday we go. West Valley walloped Eastmont. In boys basketball, Moses Lake got past the Panthers. Cashmere over Keona Benton. Omak fell to Rogers of Spokane. Cheline over Liberty Bell. Cascade over Aniat. Orville beating Waterville Mansfield. Girls scores on Saturday. Eastmont won on the road at West Valley by 5. Moses Lake got past Wenatchee. Cashmere over Keona Benton. Omak beating Rogers. Cheline got the better of Liberty Bell. And on down the line. Pateros got a forfeit, by the way, from Valley Christian. And a forfeit, you get 1 point per half. 2-0 there. Waterville Mansfield crushing Orville. And we're back in action. More wrestling. Eastmont Wildcats, Wenatchee Panthers, Big 9 Wrestling, Eastmont High School. Eric will be match side with the call. Girls at 6, boys to follow. The match will be streamed live on our Facebook page on Thursday. We'll have it on TV Friday at 7. And those are just some of the games that people are playing. Happy National Bubble Wrap Day today. It's always the last Monday in January. 2 inventors, Alfred Fielding and Mark Chavannes, came up with bubble wrap in 1957. They were trying to create 3D plastic wallpaper. It didn't work. They came up with about 400 ideas. Another thing that they tried was greenhouse insulation. That worked about as good as the wallpaper did. They actually tested it in greenhouses. It proved to be ineffective. They created the Sealed Air Company in 1960, and then their big break. 1 year later, in 1961, IBM had recently introduced their 1401, which was a big, expensive, delicate computer, and they needed a safe way to ship this rather delicate and large and expensive piece of equipment. And they got a hold of the Sealed Air Company and said, we think that your bubble wrap will work as packaging material. And it did work. But Al and Mark were inventors. They weren't businessmen, so they hired T.J. Dermott as the CEO of the company, and annual sales went from $5 million to $3 billion. The Sealed Air Company is now a Fortune 500 company, sales of about $5 billion a year, 15,000 employees, 122 countries. They do it all, and they still crank out bubble wrap, but you don't really see it much anymore. It's National Bubble Wrap Day today. I was going to pop some on the air. Can't find any around here for reasons unknown. 29 minutes after the hour, today in history. Happy birthday to the very first public university in this country. It's the University of Georgia. It was founded January 27, 1785, 240 years ago today. Lyman Hall was a graduate of Yale. He signed the Declaration of Independence. At the time, he was the governor of Georgia in 1785, and he went to the Georgia legislature and said, we need a public college. And the Georgia legislature said, okay. And they granted 40,000 acres for a campus in Athens, and they built the University of Georgia, the very first public university in this country, opened its doors in 1785 on this date. January 27, 1967, 58 years ago today, Apollo 1. They were doing some tests in the command module. Gus Grissom, Ed White, and Roger Chaffee in the command module, completely sealed in, just like an airplane. Of course, there was a lot of atmospheric pressure. They were in the pressurized command module. It was absolutely pure oxygen that was being fed in to the command module, and a fire broke out, and a fire electrical in origin, and because it had a pure oxygen atmosphere and lots of combustible materials in the command module, it caught fire, and all 3 were incinerated to their deaths. The cabin was sealed with a hatch cover which could not be opened at high pressure because it opened in, which means that they would have had to grab the hatch cover and pull it towards them, and they couldn't because of the high pressure in the cabin. Gus Grissom, Ed White, and Roger Chaffee. There is audio recording that is public out there of the final moments. It is not for the faint of heart. I recommend not listening to that. 52 years ago today, American involvement in the Vietnam War comes to an end when they sign the Paris Peace Accords. On that very day, January 27, 1973, Colonel William Nolde is killed in action. He became the last recorded American combat casualty. Of course, the war continued for another, 2.5 years before it finally came to an end. Colonel William Nolde was the 45,914th confirmed death in Vietnam, American deaths anyway. 57,597 on the total list of Americans killed. About 12,000 of those killed were never found. American involvement in the Vietnam War came to an end, but the war would continue for 2 more years. Maybe the best Super Bowl ever. Super Bowl XXV, Super Bowl 25, Giants, Bills, Tampa. New York defeats Buffalo 20-19. Scott Norwood's game-winning field goal is missed. A lot of people consider this the best Super Bowl ever. For one thing, no turnovers. A very cleanly played game, very few penalties. A lot of people remember this because this was the start of the Gulf War. Whitney Houston's rendition of the Star Spangled Banner became extremely popular. Because the Gulf War was going on, New Kids on the Block, the halftime show, wasn't on TV. ABC, which aired the game, did not air the halftime show. Instead, they aired a special report on the Gulf War. Anchored by Peter Jennings, they taped New Kids on the Block and aired it after the game. This is the only Super Bowl to date decided by just 1 point, Super Bowl 25. And finally, 22 years ago today, the very first selections for the National Recording Registry are announced by the Library of Congress. Among those recordings being so honored and archived forever and ever, Thomas Edison in 1888 on his rudimentary phonograph machine, all of FDR's fireside chats, the oldest known recordings of both Casey at the Bat and Who's on First, Bing Crosby's original recording of White Christmas, Woody Guthrie's recording of This Land Is Your Land, the legendary Sun Sessions of Elvis Presley in 1954, Miles Davis's landmark album Kind of Blue, Ray Charles and What I'd Say, and Respect, written by Otis Redding, sung by Aretha Franklin. And birthdays, speaking of music, a little Mozart's never far from my turntable, especially over the weekend. Makes you wonder what Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart would have accomplished. I mean, he accomplished a lot in his 35 years, but what if he hadn't died at the age of 35? Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, the Austrian pianist and composer, born in the state in 1756. The man who wrote Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. He was also a mathematician. Believe it or not, you wouldn't think those two would go together. Lewis Carroll, born in the state in 1832. The great Jerome Kern. He wrote Showboat, he wrote Old Man River, Smoke Gets in Your Eyes, The Way You Look Tonight, and at least a dozen more American standards. The legendary songwriter Jerome Kern, born in the state in 1885. One more heavenly birthday, Floyd the Barber. On the Andy Griffith Show, Howard McNear, born in the state in 1905. If you're a big fan of the Andy Griffith Show, as am I, you can always tell the demarcation line because during the show's run, in the early years, Howard McNeil, his character Floyd, could move around. Then he suffered a stroke. He missed about 1.5 years of the Andy Griffith Show. He came back, and even though he could not walk or stand, from that point forward, whenever Floyd the Barber was on television, he was usually sitting or standing with support that you could not see on television. Howard McNeil, born in the state in 1905. 2 living birthdays. The drummer with Pink Floyd, the only member of Pink Floyd to appear on every one of their albums, and the only member of Pink Floyd to have never left the group, Nick Mason, is 81 years old today, and the Chief Justice of the United States, John Roberts, the 17th Chief Justice of this country, is 70 years old today. For Heat and Air, call Alpine Air. For Heat and Air, call Alpine Air, they are our platinum sponsors. Mike Minotti has got an opinion coming up, and then live in studio, 2 interviews with our friends at Sustainable NCW. You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Braden, we were talking about, and this is true of me, entering into the job market, company offers a 401k, you invest, they invest, and then you have your number system. Well, Dan, you can choose 1, super conservative, or 9, super aggressive, or 5, right down the middle, and I don't know what I'm doing.
Right, and most people don't. They look at it and you get this employer-sponsored 401k plan, and you have all these options, and you might have a bunch of target date plans, right? Pick the 2065 fund or pick the 2035, and then you might have an individual 10 holdings that you can choose from, right? You're limited inside of that plan with a certain amount of options with whatever your company or your advisor that manages that fund that they've chosen. All right, so you don't have access to everything else that's out there because they're trying to keep the cost down on those plans. But when you look at that, most people just check a box and they move on. And if you run the numbers, if you actually design an actual portfolio versus the target date funds, most every time you can actually outbeat the target date funds if you actually have a professional or somebody that helps you that understands how to build a portfolio with the funds that are available that could probably outperform those, right? With less risk, right, potentially. So it's very generic, right? And if it's not, I'm not saying it's bad for lots of employees, it's a great thing to do, right? That's gonna be their only option, that's gonna be the best option, and at least it's something, which is good.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog McNaughty, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, people my age like to brag about how many grandkids they have. You know, this is what I'm talking about. Some old geezer says, yeah, I got 27 grandkids, 8 grandkids, yada, yada, yada. And we all think, wow, how cool. Well, I have 3 grandkids, and that's all I'm going to have. And you know what? I'm a quality over quantity kind of guy. My oldest grandkid, Alan, he actually lived with us for a few years, and that was cool. He shoveled my snow and he mowed my lawn. And I see Maya and Luca virtually every week, and literally I share their lives. There's no way I could do that with 27 of the little schleppers. So if you're one of those quantity folks, I mean, God bless you. You know, I'm happy for you. But for me, having the tight, close relationship I have with my 3 grandkids is just fine with me. This is Mike Mad Dog McNaughty, and that's my opinion.
Global Car Care has the best customer service in the Valley. From the moment you walk in the door, their goal is to help you stay on the road, so you can keep doing what's important to you. Global Car Care certified ASE mechanics stand behind your automotive repairs.
When you buy tires at Les Schwab, you're getting more than just tires. You're getting America's best tire warranty, 60-day satisfaction guarantee, no hassle road hazard protection, and free maintenance for the life of your tires. So if something happens to your tire on the road, we'll fix it or we'll replace it. No questions asked. Other places make you pay extra for that kind of protection. But at Les Schwab, it's included with every set of tires because more warranty means less worry. And nobody stands by their tires like Les Schwab. Get more from Les.
Who's trying to stretch their budget this January? That's pretty much all of us. That's why Abby's is offering this giant pizza that can feed up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 hungry people for less than $27. Now, that's an Abby's budget stretching deal. Worried about a no-fun January? Not at Abby's. Dine on our Bacon Cheddar Special. It's delicious and loaded with toppings and real cheese. Plus, it's on sale, and the kids can play some video games. Enjoy fun January at your local Abby's.
Enjoy a simpler time and place where the holidays bring family and friends closer together. Chelan Cellars and Sorrento's Restaurante on the shores of Lake Chelan. Join us this holiday season.
You're invited to celebrate Winterfest at Lake Chelan. Enjoy sparkling lights, local wine tasting, and fun for all ages. It's a great time to start a new holiday tradition at Washington's Winter Wonderland. More information at lakechelan.com.
I let Rick know that he's the president of Sustainable NCW. He's the president of the board. I said, anytime you guys want to come by and pay us a visit, you're more than welcome to. I was just being nice. I'm kidding. We love Sustainable NCW. Luckily, and fortunately for all of our television viewers, Rick is in the studio, but he's not on TV because Marlene is a lot better at her job than Rick is at his. Marlene Farrow is executive director of Sustainable NCW. I haven't seen you in a couple months, I think?
I think so.
Yeah.
Before we had an event in October at Pybus that was a panel discussion with all these experts about recycling and composting. We had a really great turnout and amazing questions, and it really gave us a lot to think about what does our community still have questions about in terms of how to do things correctly.
How do you know that the seminar went really well? The whole thing was very educational. How can you tell that you're planting the seed? Do people afterwards come up to you and say, "What can I do to move forward on this?"
Exactly. Yeah, and then just we've had discussions as a group like what can we do with that information, and we've got some great ideas. We're actually applying for a grant right now that's kind of using those ideas, some of the kind of hot topics from that, or if we get lucky and we get the grant, we'll be able to make these great little short educational and funny, interesting videos about each of these topics, like about plastics or about what can and can't go into compost and wish cycling and things like that.
Do people sometimes get discouraged about recycling because, gee, can I put that in there or I can't put that in there, and now they won't take it or they will take it? Does that get a little frustrating?
I think so, yes. Because, you think, well, I've been told that this works and now it doesn't, so now I'm not going to trust the system. So that's why we're hoping to have videos that are kind of timeless and say, these are the things we are sure about and we believe they're going to stay this way for quite a few years. I mean, there's always a chance for changes, but that's what the point. And we're going to be linking it to our Waste Wizard, which, as you know, is a tool, a tool that we made a few years ago, and it's online for people to be able to search any material they want and figure out, can I recycle it? Can I donate it? What can I do with it? And how can it be safely disposed of so we're not doing anything dangerous either?
Do you have to update the Waste Wizard, or is once
correct?
Yes. You do have to, because sometimes things fall off the recyclable and things that get added on, that kind of stuff?
Like how last year polystyrene stopped in our area, but it hopefully will be back, so we'll be able to adjust that again. So, I mean, that's kind of one of the jobs that we take upon ourselves. We have the two counties, Chelan and Douglas County, are sponsors of the Waste Wizard app, the platform, but our staff time is kind of on us unless we have some sponsors.
None of this really works unless those organizations that create a lot of garbage get into the recycle game. The fascinating story that we did a couple weeks ago about recycling the food waste at the Wenatchee High School Commons and how much they go through with just stuff that gets tossed away and it could be used for other things. was fast, something like 700 pounds a lunch period, like
Awesome.
crazy like that.
Okay,
But,
yeah,
but
they've been
they're
doing
getting
good
it.
audits to kind
They're
of
getting
get the data to see.
This grant, who cuts the check if you get it? Where's it coming from?
It's from the Department of Ecology.
Okay.
Yeah, through the Washington State. And we also just received a grant through the Department of Ecology, so we're getting better at
Grant
applying
writing's a
for-
pain in the butt,
for state
Marlene.
things.
It's not easy. How do you do?
I actually really enjoy it. I have a writing background,
Oh,
and
okay.
we also do have a team of people, so we kind of like different ones of us. I mean, I do quite a bit of the drafting, but other people do too, and then we can kind of share ideas, do group editing, thanks to Google Docs, and I feel like we tend to have a pretty strong argument. And the thing I like about it too is it's another way of, through the writing process about it, it kind of strengthens why it's important to you, because you're writing about what the need is and what we're doing, what our program is, what the outcomes are going to be based upon this program. So.
Sustainable NCW is not a stagnant organization. You guys have been around for quite some time, with a name change, I might add. But your organization is not getting smaller by any means.
That's right. Yeah. We right now, in addition to these things that we've talked about, we obviously have our Earth Day Fair that's huge, and it's changing a little bit this year, and we hope it to be as big as ever. We can talk about that. And then we are involved in the Toward Zero Waste at Events space, particularly with our partners through Rotary. So we're going to be at Apple Blossom again this year, quite a bit. And then earlier we'll be at Rails and Ales on March 8th. This is the first time that they are going to have Toward Zero Waste stations, and the food vendors are all going to be using compostable servingware. So there'll be almost no waste at all.
Was that a hard sell between you and the Rotary and the Apple Blossom folks to say, we can do better? Or were they all on board from the get-go?
I personally wasn't involved at the very beginning, but I believe that it's been kind of a growth, like kind of let's try. I think the first year was 1 or 2 days, and then each year we're doing more, and they've been extremely accepting and on board now that they've seen how it's been working, and we're kind of working out the details. Everybody involved is pretty detail-oriented, and this year the vendors at Apple Blossom are going to have compostable boats, like if you get French fries or something. So we're kind of like getting people ready to kind of make even more little steps each year.
And for merchants, it used to be cost prohibitive. It isn't anymore. It really isn't to crank out those things and use them.
Right, and this at Apple Blossom and at Rails and Ales, Weinstein is a sponsor, and has a lot of paper products and stuff, and they now have a full line of compostable servingware. So like at Apple Blossom, it's going to be super easy for the vendors because they have a huge truck that's just parked at Apple Blossom, so if they run out, they can just grab them like instantaneously rather than like worrying about running out of supplies.
And I will be doing my part, trust me. Come the last weekend in April and the first weekend in May. Van's going to join us in just a little bit. He's running the bike co-op. You brought a couple of notes. I don't want you to forget anything while you're here. So what else is on your mind while I have you here, Marlene?
So first, Earth Day Fair. This year, we're partnering for the first time with Wenatchee Valley College. So we're super excited to try a new space. So it will be all outdoors near their fountain. If you've been there, it's a beautiful area. And they've just been already great to work with. So we're excited as we're planning it. I want to be thanking Cascade Auto Center because they have agreed to be our kind of largest sponsor again this year. So really, that's great. And then one new aspect, we might have a few things, but one is we're going to have like a music stage, which we had last year, and then another stage with short educational talks, like 5 to 10 minute kind of like mini TED Talks, because there's all these people with booths that have all kinds of amazing knowledge. And just in case somebody doesn't have a chance to go visit them at their booth, they can come up and talk to a group at once. So we're excited about that.
They did a food truck fair at the college back in the fall, and one thing I noticed is that why don't they use this gorgeous space more often? That big central part of the campus with a big fountain, lots of trees, lots of yard, lots of parking. It's a perfect place to have an event like this.
Yes, and I know the college is trying to be more and more integrated, engaging with the community, so we're excited. It's kind of a perfect partnership.
Is Van a straight up guy? I'm going to put him on here in just a little bit.
Yes, yeah. He'll give it to you straight.
Yeah, okay. Well,
and he'll tell you all about our bicycle co-op, which I haven't touched on, but that's been a huge initiative for us this year, working with really enthusiastic community members like Van and others to get this kind of going from a vision to like now we're having some tangible steps.
We're going to have some tangible steps with, or maybe I should say pedals, with Van. Van Brinkerhoff will be joining us from Sustainable, the Bike Co-op, when we come back here watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCWLIFE channel.
Bob's Classic Restaurant and Distillery, established in 1987, where we concentrate on what we do best, creating excellent food, exciting drinks, great customer service, and an imaginative atmosphere to craft an excellent dining experience for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Shareable or not, that's up to you. Bob's Classic dishes are handcrafted and full of flavor. Enjoy the experience at Bob's Classic with your family and friends today.
Elevate Home is the newest addition to Chelan's premier shopping district. Shop the latest from American Leather and Bassett Furniture, add in their on-site interior designer, and you'll have everything you need to elevate your space today.
You're invited to celebrate Winterfest at Lake Chelan. Enjoy sparkling lights, local wine tasting, and fun for all ages. It's a great time to start a new holiday tradition at Washington's Winter Wonderland. More information at lakechelan.com.
When getting the job done right is job one, you need construction equipment that's built right. With durable Kubota engines, more comfort, and the versatility to do it all. You need the Kubota construction lineup. Right now, write it off the lot and write it off your taxes with 0 down, 0% APR for up to 60 months or save up to $4,000.
Van, you want to buy a TriCaster or machine's not working right? It's a long story altogether. Van, introduce yourself to our television family, buddy.
I'm Van Brinkerhoff. I live in East Wenatchee. Originally from the west side, moved over here just at the beginning of 2020 and retired.
What did you do before you came over here to the big city?
I was a sales guy. I worked for K2 Sports. I ran a couple of their divisions for a number of years.
So you're just naturally drawn to the outdoors by definition.
Pretty much, yeah. Skiing, biking, hiking, climbing, that sort of thing.
So you moved over here about 5 years ago, and then you ended up getting hooked up with Sustainable NCW. Just kind of morphed into that. How did you get involved in this organization?
Well, originally they had that Waste Wizard out, and we were recycling from the west side. We recycled a lot of stuff, so we were kind of trying to figure out what was going on, and the Waste Wizard was was available, so we had some contact with them, and it really wasn't until maybe just about a year ago that myself and another fellow, Lauren Honas, decided that maybe some sort of bike co-op was a good idea for the Wenatchee Valley. And he had a person that was working for him that is on the board of Sustainable. And she happened to say, you know what, we just had a board meeting and we're thinking about doing something with biking. So it all kind of came together really quite rapidly. So it was last, May or something like that, we kind of made a formal presentation to the board of saying, here's our thoughts. We know you want to do something with biking. We have an idea of kind of outreach around bike repair and bike education, primarily geared towards everybody, but really open to maybe underserved communities a little bit more. So that was our vision.
And so far, so good? Or are you just still taking some baby steps?
No, we took several baby steps for about 2 weeks, and then it just exploded. We really had a great group to work with. People were really motivated and thought, biking and community outreach around biking was a great idea. And so we had the idea of eventually having a hard space, a physical location. Realized pretty quickly that that was probably not going to happen because of the cost. And so we hit upon this idea of maybe a mobile bike repair that did some outreach, primarily, at least initially, in middle schools. I had been working for 3 or 4 years with a guy in Kashmir who was doing that at Kashmir Middle School. It's a very successful program, and so we batted that idea around, and then I think it was August or September, Marlene came in and said, there's a state grant we can apply for that would allow us to buy what we need to be able to do this outreach program. And we were kind of 50-50 whether we would get this, but we thought, if you don't ask, you're not gonna receive it. So as Marlene pointed out, there's a great group of grant writers. We got together, applied for the grant, and lo and behold, found at the end of December we got it.
Sweet.
It was the dog catching the car, so to speak. So we're in the process right now of kind of finalizing several things. What is it exactly that we're going to buy? What's the time frame? Starting to do outreach with people that we will actually provide services for. And then kind of out of the blue, very serendipitously, we had a contact with the YMCA here in town. And they said, come on down. Tell us what you're doing. We might be interested. And literally on a Friday afternoon, the three of us sat down and said, wow, you've got this great facility here at the new place where they're going to build their building.
Right on the trail, which people bike on.
It's a block from the trail. I mean, it's amazing. So they showed us their old fleet services building where the trucks were serviced, the PUD trucks were serviced. And there was a particular section in there where having a bike repair facility and storage and maintenance and all that kind of stuff would have been perfect. And so that's what we were kind of negotiating on, and we hope to have something tied together pretty quick here.
Does the fact that the Wenatchee Valley, specifically the Wenatchee, East Wenatchee core area, is such a great place to bike, does that make your job a little bit easier? Because on nice days, the spring, summer, and fall, people are taking to their two wheels and they're doing it.
It's one of the nicest place, if not the nicest place in the state. When we lived on the west side, we used to come over here quite frequently to ride bikes. There's a whole lot of biking opportunity here, not only on the trail and all the way up to the state park, but also mountain biking. I mean, we've got Squilchuck, we've got Canyon 2. There's just a ton of biking that is available, easily accessible, anything from very simple to quite involved biking. So it's a great place to ride bikes, and with sun, it makes it very appealing most of the year.
And the governmental agencies have been paying attention. City of Wenatchee got together with Public Works that these are the main thoroughfares from the west side of town to the river that people will, it's one thing to bike along the trail, but you got to get there first.
Right.
And if you want to bike to the trail, 5th Street, 1st Street, they've created all of these corridors for bicyclists to safely make it down to the river.
Yep, the access to car-free biking is better than just about anywhere in the state. So it makes it easy for people to get to the trail and ride around. Certainly you could drive a car and whatnot, but because of those access points, people are able to ride from home, ride from school, and get onto the trail quite easily.
So what's next for the bike co-op, Van? What do you, when the weather starts warming up and you guys start ramping up your activities? Where can people find you and what do they do?
Well, you can find us on the Sustainable NCW website to begin with. We right now are literally in, or going to be probably next week, in the equipment acquisition mode, where we've got a list of tools. Actually, we just sent that list out to some folks to price that out for us this morning early. But we'll be buying a truck, an EV truck. We'll be buying a trailer, and we're just about to be in negotiations with the local schools, the middle schools, to be able to set up these programs for after-school education for the middle schoolers.
Well, there's one thing that I've discovered when I was a kid: bikes do break down. Yeah, you get flat tires, the chains come off, that kind of stuff. Van, it's good to see you, my friend. As Van and I were talking before we got into the conversation when we were off camera, a little too cold to go a little biking. We got one more look at your weather forecast, and here it is, lots of sunshine today. We're doing this again. It's too bad it can't be sunny and 50, but unfortunately, it's going to be sunny and 37 for the afternoon high today. Clear tonight, 19 for the overnight low. We do it again on Tuesday. Today will be day 13 of the sunny, cool, dry air, an unprecedented event for our area. We haven't had any measurable precipitation since January 4th. That may change on Friday as a big ridge of high pressure is beginning to move out of the area. That's going to allow a system to roll in. Could see some snow Friday night. Could see some light snow overnight into Saturday. There will definitely be some snow, by the way, in the upper elevations, especially the Cascades. They're going to get a lot of snow, but that's okay. They need it. Have a good and safe Monday. Nice meeting you, Van. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.